Orale! Bienvenidos and welcome to the Familia FFB podcast. This is your host, Jorge Martin, and it is Super Bowl week.
Yes,
Super Bowl week. Yes, Super Bowl week. It's this. You know what? Everything that we've been building toward, it's happening now. It is happening now. It's happening on Sunday. We're on Wednesday night. So, gosh, and just so much good stuff. So I want to make sure, because this isn't the end, because Familia FFB is going to keep going. We've been going, this is, I can't believe to say this. We are starting the 5th year of
wow.
Familia FFB.
Congratulations. That's
Yeah.
something to be proud of.
Yeah, it's totally amazing, amigo. It's totally amazing to say 5th year of this crazy idea. So, hey, you know what? So make sure you're giving us a like and subscribe. Okay, make sure you're giving us a like and subscribe on YouTube. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Also, make sure you're going. If you want to hear it on audio, Apple, Google, Spotify. Thank you, Spotify, for getting us on there. But hey, you know what, Familia? I want to bring on our guest. I mean, he's not just amigo, he's a compadre, he's an hermano. I mean, he is familia here and here. I mean, I'm telling you, you find his work on The Athletic. And he just started doing betting and fantasy analysis for them. Also working for FTN Data, where he's seeing the game in a whole new way. We got to meet through our buen amigos, our familia over at Front Yard Fantasy. Shout out, JL, Simon, Simon, Joey, all Tim, all the game there. So let's bring him in, mi hermano Jay Felicio. Jay, ¿cómo estás?
You're always way too kind with the way you speak of me, but the feeling is quite mutual, my friend. I can't wait till, like we say every time we talk, be able to see you in person and hug your neck. Won't be at FSGA, unfortunately, but hopefully the expo this year, we'll get to have some great conversation like we did the last time we were in person.
Oh, Expo. Oh gosh, it's gonna be. I can't believe. I mean, it's 6 months away, but
It's
it
gonna
can't get
go
here
like
soon.
that.
Well, I feel it's funny. The season has been gone a little more than a month and a few. Well, I mean, the regular season,
Right.
the fantasy football season ended right about a month and maybe 5-6 days ago. But uh, it still feels fresh. It still feels like it ended yesterday. But I want to know, you know, uh, for the game coming up, what are you looking forward to the most?
Eating. Definitely eating. I'm 8-year-old kids. We were just talking about before we went live. I've got young kids. It's a school night. I was on with Dane Martinez earlier today on FTN Betcast, and he was asking what the scene is on Super Bowl Sunday at the Felicio household. And these days, it's very relaxed, very have a drink or two, but we do like to eat. The Italian in me, that's the one thing Italians and Mexicans have together is we love the food. So definitely plenty of food. I'm excited about that. And my kids, the whole Taylor Swift thing. Some people like it, some people don't. I love it because my daughter has somewhat of an interest in the game now. So I'm excited. I think it's going to be a lot of fun and going to eat way too much.
Anything to get them. And you know what? The great thing about kids is you end up that stuff, that kid food, like the chicken tenders, those kind
Oh
of things
man,
that you don't. It gives you an
I
excuse.
I love it. And the thing, my thing is Uncrustables. My kids love
Oh.
Uncrustables. I can tear up. I need a little snack after dinner, right before going to bed. I'm like, you know what? I'll take an Uncrustable. And I got a tip for you, and I don't remember exactly who it was. I'll have to look. Somebody I put on Twitter a couple months ago that I was eating an Uncrustable. They said put it directly in the toaster because then the outside kind of thaws out, but the inside is still nice and cold. And I tell you what, I have not eaten one any other way since. It is phenomenal. You get the nice toasted crunch, the jelly and the peanut butter on the inside it's perfect.
It makes them meld together. And one of the things that I was talking about with somebody not that long ago was just that peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and just the idea of, I mean, we're, we eat fairly healthy in our home, and so we always have whole wheat bread, but it's just right on the white bread.
Yeah.
Just
Yep.
it's just
Something
right.
something about it. It's just it's fine on the wheat bread, but it's just something maybe, it brings you back to your childhood just having that classic white bread.
So, but other foods you're looking forward to on Sunday.
I'm a wings guy. So generally what I do if we do have some people over, it's either family or we have a couple who are close friends of ours since college. That he's a buddy of mine that likes to do wings as well. So either we'll do it on the grill, we'll bake them, just try different sauces and stuff like that. Of course, the classic buffalo, but always try to do something a little different. I'm a big fan of like anything like the sweet and spicy, like a sriracha
Yeah.
sweet and spicy sriracha type of flavor, that type of thing. And my wife isn't big on the spicy stuff, so we'll do a little honey barbecue and stuff like that as well. But and of course, like I said, my favorite is the classic buffalo, but I like to mix it up a little bit too.
Now, is are boneless wings kind of like,
You mean chicken nuggets? Yeah,
So you're a purist. You're a
yes, I
purist. You
am.
gotta.
They're fine. They're delicious. There's nothing wrong with them, but they're not wings. They're nuggets. They're popcorn chicken, whatever you want to call them. They're not
Yeah.
nuggets. Delicious, but they're not nuggets.
Yeah. I mean,
I mean, excuse me,
I've
they are
enjoyed.
nuggets. They're not wings.
I've enjoyed both. I've enjoyed both.
Right. Yeah. Don't
I
get me.
don't.
You sit either one in front of me. I will gladly partake in either, but one is a wing and one is a saucy nug.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Well, you know what? Yeah, because of Andy Reid, we know about nuggies.
Right.
So that's
Exactly.
all right. Well, well, I know one of the things that my kids talked about. One of my daughters loves to make guacamole, and so she's gonna make a nice guac for us.
There you
So
go.
it's gonna be a good time.
My mom is a huge guacamole fan. She makes it. She refuses to buy it. She makes it home. And this past summer, we take a family trip, and my mom taught my daughter how to make guacamole. So now she loves to make guacamole. So you know what? You just gave me an idea. I'm gonna ask her. She'll get a huge kick out of that. She's she's about to turn 8, so she's all Miss Independent. I can make my own food and stuff like that. And you know what? I think if I ask her to make some guacamole for the Super Bowl, that will just, make her day.
Oh, absolutely perfect. Get the avocados now. Get them nice and soft by Sunday. So,
Absolutely.
yes, perfect, perfect, mi amigo. All right, so we're gonna get into the matchup in a minute on for the Super Bowl, but the fantasy season, as I mentioned, still pretty fresh. Do you have any one or two takeaways that you're gonna kind of explore for the coming season?
Yeah, and I actually mentioned this last night on I was on with our friend Jim Coventry on RotoWire, the Super Bowl marathon. You were on as well. And the biggest thing that kind of sticks out for me this season is, I've never been one to partake in take lock or anything like that, but we get these narratives stuck in our head, like, you don't want to draft any running backs over 20, over 28 years old. They're going to be a huge drop off, or don't draft rookie tight ends, stuff like that. Um, don't necessarily think in absolutes when it comes to that, because I really didn't have that much Raheem Mostert because, I knew the opportunity was there, but I'm like, man, this guy's so old. I'd rather take a shot on Jeff Wilson. And I wish I would have been a little more open to later in drafts taking shots, going against the grain, going against the narrative. Same thing, I didn't have much Dalton Kincaid. I did have a little bit of Sam Laporta, so I will say that, but I
Mhm.
wish I would have gone a little heavier there as well.
It's funny. The one team that I recall that I had Sam Laporta. My starting tight end was Travis Kelsey. So it's just
Like, what do
luckily
you
we had
mean?
a lot. Yeah,
Well,
luckily we had a lot of flexes.
the one team I had Sam Laporta on, or the major team that I had him on, Darren Waller was my tight end, so I was more than happy to just slide him right in there.
Oh, well, I know Darren Waller kind of hurts, but no, that
It
was that
does.
was a, that was a good move. But yeah, you know what? It's so true not to just be dealing with absolutes where you need to have running back at some point, or I know that we've got a lot of zero RB zealots out there who are just don't take a running back before the 6th, 7th, 8th, 10th round or something like that. It's like I know you want to follow the board, but yeah, definitely look at who's available. And Raheem, you mentioned Raheem Mostert. I mean, it's one of those things you got to look at the situation, and that situation was still crying for some running back to come through. And I think I think what happened with him was everybody was expecting him to, somebody to come in, Dalvin Cook, somebody else to come in, and they were just ignoring it, even though they were, having their drafts. So
I was big on Jeff Wilson. I had him all over the place, and I wish I would have had a little Raheem Mostert. Just because Wilson looked pretty solid. We've seen what he's done in San Francisco. He looked solid last year coming over to Miami, but I was basically putting all my eggs in one basket, and I wish I would have spread them out a little more.
No, yeah, especially, gosh, 21 touchdowns from Raheem Mostert, just ridiculous. More touchdowns than he ever scored in his career combined before. So
Unbelievable.
I don't know if I'm going to that well again, even in Miami, but
value. That's the thing is, you don't want to. I fear he's going to be overdrafted next year. The reason he was so valuable is because he didn't cost that much. Draft capital. He was either underdrafted or basically free. And look at a situation like Tony Pollard. Everybody expected him because he was going to get all those carries to step right in, and he was being drafted with buying all the risk, being taken as the guy that everybody wanted him to be. He would have to put up that MVP caliber season to be able to return the investment that most people spent on Tony Pollard. So that's another thing as well as, just try to remember to, and I generally do a pretty good job of this. I got a little awestruck with Bijan this year, and you know what? I'd do it again. I still believe in Bijan, but don't buy all the risk. That's another big takeaway. That's how I try to try to play the game is, value and don't buy all the risk.
Yeah, don't buy all the risk. And you know what? I'm with you on Bijan. I just did a first round mock draft with our amigos at Yahoo today,
Oh, nice.
and I took Bijan. I think it was like the number 7 or number 8, and it's just like
I'm taking him there all day long. I did a mock. Actually, you partook in
that's right.
the mock, and I took him at 7 overall. I think mid first. Everybody's going to have warts. Give me the guy that, produced when he got the touches.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, 1,463 yards I saw and 8 touchdowns. And what's getting me excited about it is Zach Robinson is coming in, and he's taking over he's going to be taking over play calling duties. He's coming, and they've already talked about the fact that, hey, you know what? We're coming in with, we're going to use our guys. We're going to use Robinson. We're going to use Drake London. We're going to use Kyle Pitts. But Zach Robinson, the new OC, he comes from the Rams, and look what he did with Kyren Williams. Right. And I think, Kyren Williams, as good as he was last year, Bijan Robinson is better. So
I'm with you.
We're getting it.
I'm gonna fall. If if it fails again, so be it. I'm willing, and that's where context is key. Tony Pollard. He's not. I don't think anybody's gonna be taking another shot on him. But Bijan with the situation, he's worth going back in. Looky
he's
here.
Healthy. Órale, Dame Overboard, nuestra amiga. ¿Cómo estás?
Dame and Scamps.
Scamps. Oh, it's
two of
like
my
old
favorite
times.
people. Well, one of my favorite people and one of my favorite cats.
Well, that's right. You still haven't made the face-to-face, face-to-fur, confrontation yet.
I actually, the reason I didn't go to the expo this year is because I didn't want to break the illusion. I couldn't stand the idea of not picturing a cat in my head when I think of Mr. Scampers.
Well, when you're speaking of pictures, even if you ever take a picture with Mr. Scampers, that Mr. Scampers is going to look away from the camera or do something. So just make sure of that. And buen amigo Joey Wright, Jose correcto. Gracias, buddy. Gracias, mi amigo. Looking forward to seeing you. Said
he was going to crash. I don't see you here, Joey.
He texted me. He said he wasn't in his mic. He didn't have his mic set up. So
I know,
it's all good. It's all good. I told him we're gonna have to do a party live stream soon. So we'll do that. So that'll be good times. That'll be good times. So one of the things you just kind of like any betting trends that you picked up over the course of the season that, kind of that you might be looking at, might be coming into play this weekend?
I wouldn't say necessarily any betting trends over the season. The one thing I will say, a lot of people are afraid to go after any reception props going against the Chiefs because the Chiefs have been so dominant against wide receivers.
Uh,
They have given up. They've been susceptible to the slot, and I actually like the over for Deebo Samuel. I believe it's, let me double check. It's 7 receptions, excuse me, 5 receptions. Um, even though he got hurt in the very first game against Green Bay in the playoffs, he was targeted 6 times on that first drive before. That was just in the first drive. 9 snaps, 6 targets. And then last week, even playing banged up, he was targeted 9 times for 8 catches. Actually, I have an article coming out for
oh,
The Athletic, a props article on both Deebo Samuel and Travis Kelce. But where is my other notes? Let me pull that up real quick. There's a couple of things that really play into his favor, in Deebo's favor, when it comes to these props. Give me just a second. I apologize, mi
oh,
amigo.
no, but Joey's helping us on something big on Pacheco, over 66.5 rushing yards. That's gonna be good. That
Absolutely. And
so,
since what is it, week 15, I think it was, the 49ers have averaged like 100, allowing 130 plus rushing yards. They gave up like two and change to the Cardinals, and then they've just not been that dominant rush defense that they were at the beginning of the season, even though they finished overall as, I think, the 3rd best rush defense, only allowing 89 rushing yards per game. They've really, really, towards the end of the season in the playoffs, have not been that same dominant defense. And in the playoffs, like I was talking about, the Chiefs giving a lot of work up to the slot wide receivers, slot pass catchers, because Dalton Kincaid also had a solid game versus the
mm,
Bills. It wasn't a big game, but they led the way for both. Who was it? Khalil Shakir and Dalton Kincaid led the way for the Bills,
oh,
with
that's right. Shakir got a
Kincaid.
touchdown against them.
Right, Kincaid went 5 catches for 45 yards. Shakir went 7 catches for 44 yards and a touchdown, which isn't anything to write home about. But like I said, that was leading the way. And then we saw in the AFC Championship, Zay Flowers went big for 5 catches, 115 yards and a touchdown, and could have had a lot more. So
Almost had
I'm
one more touchdown, almost.
exactly. I really I like Deebo this week. I think he's going to be involved. They put him all over the field. He's been involved more so this postseason than he has in the regular season. And I think for them to win, they're going to have to use him all over the field.
I think you're right. I think, I mean, that Debo is such an X factor because he's such a yak monster when he gets the ball in his hands. So
Exactly.
I love that idea about him coming in and having a big game on this one. So and Joey, you're so right on Pacheco. I mean, gosh, I mean, Aaron Jones went for 108 yards against them, and then last week, 130, and last game in the conference championship, 38 yards combined between David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. So I love that. I actually think Pacheco could be a big X factor. So we're going
Yeah.
to get in that game. But I want to ask one last question on FTN. The work that you did with FTN. How have you seen the game differently
It's
with charting?
it's it's really crazy, because although I've watched football my entire life, played Madden, all that stuff, I never played organized football. I played flag football or, tackle football with my friends and stuff like that. So, I feel like there's a big difference when you play a sport, the way you see the game versus if you've never played the sport. Now, I'm not saying, if you haven't played a sport, you can't understand it or anything like that, because that's the furthest thing from the truth. But I feel like I kind of had a little bit of a cheat code to get more of that point of view by doing the charting. And I really took a liking to charting the run game. I was telling my manager, Mike Tallis, who shout out to Mike, he's phenomenal. The whole data team at FTN is unbelievable. But when I first started it, I despised it. I was like, what have I got myself into? I have no idea what I'm doing. This is awful. And then I just kept on asking for more and more work because it's one of those things. Just once it clicked,
Yep.
you do watch the game in a whole different way. And I caught myself, every play watching the offensive line, seeing the linemen pull out and stuff like that, and seeing the motion, what they're trying to do, and just it put everything into perspective. Like I said, I really took a liking to charting the run game, and even before he blew up, I'd had a lot of the Miami run game at first, and
Oh
you can
yeah.
see it when you're watching. You could see Devin A-Chain or A-Chain, however you say his name. I told Mike, he's a Dolphins fan. I'm like, this guy is the real deal. He really is unbelievable. And honestly, I'm big into Najee next year. I know Najee. I wish I would have listened to my own eyes, I guess you could say, however, what I saw, because I did a lot of the Steelers games as well, and Najee looked good all year long. It was the play. It really was the play calling and the offensive line, because the Steelers just continuously called, man duo, run the running back right up the middle, and it was just running into his own guys or running into a brick wall. So being able to pick out those things, because Najee, if people were starting him, he was a league winner for a lot of teams. If you made the playoffs when you had Najee, but he
That's
finished the
right.
season. He finished the season really strong, and I think people are still going to be have a sour taste in their mouth from the way that the season went for him. And I think he could potentially be a post type sleeper, if you will.
Yeah, I'm totally with you on that because I was really high on him before the season just because of the way Tomlin likes to use the running back position, and I heard the Jalen Warren talk and I thought he would be a factor, but I still thought Najee would be would have a good end to end season, but no, I think now he. Especially the way Arthur Smith likes to use the running game
Right.
when he did in Derrick Henry, and Mike Vrabel said we have Derrick Henry run him into the ground. So I
I
think
know.
Najee will have the same
He
thing.
might try to, re-sign Jerome Bettis and throw him out there like he did Cordero Patterson. So who knows with Arthur Smith?
Yeah, well, there was a report that Le'Veon Bell wants to make a comeback, but it was only with the Steelers. So go figure, go figure.
Right,
So
right, exactly. That
if
could be the guy.
yeah, maybe Rashad Mendenhall is also available or
Willie
something
Parker,
like that.
possibly.
Fast Willie Parker. I love that guy. I love
Absolutely.
that guy. Oh my goodness. Love that. Okay. So I got a quick one, quick one from you. We know where the G-Men comes from. So you're a Giants fan.
Correct.
Where are you on this whole Daniel Jones discussion and kind of like, what are they going to do with that number 6 pick?
I I want us to move on. It's I don't it's not fair to Daniel Jones because I charted a lot of the Giants games as well, actually. That was one team that I charted every single game for. And we all know offensive line is super important for not only the run game, the pass game. I've never seen anything like it, how little time Daniel Jones had. The offensive line started to play a little better towards the middle and the end of the season. We signed Justin Pugh off the couch and moved some guys around. That he was injured by that time. I was not a fan of the pick when we made it. I don't mind Daniel Jones. We drafted him too high, and he's not going to be that guy to elevate the team to a Super Bowl championship. If you're going top 10, I want a guy that is going to be able to put the team on his back and take them to a deep playoff run. He's never going to be that guy. I think he's solid in the right system. If we had a decent offensive line, we saw it 2 years ago now. Like he had a solid season. He can produce.
Mhm.
I hope that it doesn't necessarily have to be in the first round, but I would like to come away, after day 2, having at least a quarterback. Dable's supposed to be this quarterback guru who can look what he did with Josh Allen. I'd be fine with taking a receiver, one of the guys at 6, and then, second or third round, looking at a quarterback. We've got the out after, I understand why we signed Daniel Jones to the contract we did. It's so hard to get a franchise quarterback, and he looked good. But they built in that out after 2025, after 2024 for a reason. It's a small cap hit comparatively. I think it's like 19 million, which isn't small, but for the contract, it's not that bad. I hope we move on. I honestly don't know. There's reports that we're still going to stick with Daniel Jones, but Joe Shane has been very close to the vest with what he's wanted to do, unlike, previous regimes for the Giants. So it's a nice change of pace. So I'm hoping, maybe smoke and mirrors, maybe they do want to, if he's fallen in love with Caleb Williams or Drake May, I wouldn't be surprised to see him move up, because they did it. They moved up twice to get Josh Allen. Shane seems like the type of guy that he sees a guy he wants, he's going to go get him.
That'd be amazing. That'd be amazing if they, Caleb Williams in New York.
I would take any of the top three. I would be more than happy. Although, as a Duke fan, I don't know if I want Drake May, but I mean, I'll take it. I guess the Duke quarterback didn't work out, so maybe we'll try the UNC.
Oh man. Well, speaking of Duke, I know you're a big Duke fan. And so one of my main home leagues, we determine our draft order based on, we hold a draft. It's a 14-team league. We draft NCAA tournament teams.
Okay.
So we just have one round draft. So 1 through 14, you have one team.
Ooh.
And so, you've got to go, you're basically picking a team to go as far as it can. Duke is number 9 in the country. Why should I pick Duke?
Don't. No, I would say.
I mean, I don't have to pick the champion. I mean,
just
because
whoever goes furthest.
So it's whoever goes furthest, but basically our draft order. So if your team gets knocked out, you're number 14, and so it's just to get a team that's going to get a good long run.
So the one thing I'll say, this is John Shire's second year, had some ups and downs, which is going to happen. He's really shown some promise as a coach, and I definitely think that he was the right decision to be the man after the man, because nobody wants to be the guy after Coach K, just like nobody wanted to be the guy after Dean Smith or Roy Williams. But I will say last year they struggled in the middle of the season. We lost big to Miami, lost big to Virginia. And then towards the end of the season, he rallied the guys, won, I think it was like 10 straight games, 9 straight games, something like that, to win the ACC title, win the regular season championship. So he's a great coach. We've got the talent, and I'm not necessarily for or against the NIL, but it works in Duke's favor, because they're going to be able, anybody who plays for Duke is going to sell merchandise and stuff like that. And for once, we've got a lot of returning players. We've got, some cohesion in the team. We've got, young guys. We've got Proctor, we got the senior and Jeremy Roach. So we've got a really good team, really good chemistry. It's just, there's going to be growing. While I love Shire, he's no Coach K.
It's hard. It's so hard to follow. Legend. I mean, gosh, what's Kalen DeBoer is going to figure that out in Alabama next year. Out here in LA, we had Gene Bartow following John Wooden. So, and Jared Mayo is going to learn what it's like to follow Bill Belichick. So
Bill Guthridge didn't do too great as the follow up to Dean Smith. That's an old school one, but.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing. You don't want to be the guy who follows the guy. You want to be the guy who follows the guy who follows the guy.
Exactly.
So that's where Roy Williams came in and took care of that. But so we'll see. So all right, let's jump into the game. Big game. We got happening. 49ers. At Chiefs. So, but it's going to be in Vegas, indoors. They're apparently going to make sure that the field gets plenty of sunshine, so it's not wet like it was last year.
Okay.
49ers are 2-point favorites, 47.5-point over or under. Mi amigo, so much money is already coming down on the money line on Kansas City. Almost 60%, 58% chance of bets. 58% of bets are coming down on the money line on the Chiefs. 84% of bets already are on the Chiefs plus 2 points. I mean, we know Patrick Mahomes is that guy. can you? I mean, if you're putting money down, can you bet against that man?
I cannot. I think the Chiefs are going to do it. I definitely I think it's going to be a close game, and I think the way that San Francisco would be able to win this game is going to be on the back of Patrick Mahomes because the Chiefs defense this potentially is the best that Patrick Mahomes has ever played
Yeah,
with. And the one I wouldn't say weakness because they're not bad. It's just compared to their top end pass defense, they're a little more susceptible to the run. I think they're middle of the road, 15th, 16th, 17th, something like that during the regular season. But I just think these teams are evenly matched from a total talent standpoint. Patrick Mahomes, what 4 Super Bowls in the past 5 years?
yeah, it's amazing.
I think that experience is going to make the difference. I think Brock Purdy will be fine, but we have seen inconsistent play from him, throughout the year and especially in the postseason. And it blows my mind the hate that the guy is getting for some reason. Like most people, like 99.9% of the time, everybody loves the underdog story. Like he's the ultimate underdog story. Everybody's hating on him. But I think he's kind of got that Eli Manning type of temperament where nothing shakes him. Like he could
Yeah.
go out there and throw a pick six, or he can go out there and hit a bomb to Brandon Ayuk, and it his emotions just don't really change that much. But I'm going to take the edge of the experience with the Chiefs, with the 49ers rush defense struggling, like I said earlier. They've given up an average 137 rushing yards per game since week 15, where they gave up 234 to the Cardinals. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game than people want. I think both running games are going to get a lot of production. And I think that the Chiefs are going to be able to have just that little bit of Mahomes magic to be able to pull out the victory.
I can totally see that too. I mean, Mahomes is going to be. I mean, he hasn't had a 300-yard game since I believe week 14. So I mean, but
Insane.
obviously he's been playing in some tough conditions. I mean, you're looking. I mean, the way he's playing right now is very different from before, where he was bombs away. Very measured passes, a lot of short intermediate. I think there's going to be a lot of Travis Kelce in this game. I mean, he connected on all 11 of his passes to Kelce last time, so I could see that a lot. And you were, some of the they're going to find some soft spots in the intermediate range. Sam Laporta went off for 9 catches, 97 yards against the 49ers in the conference championship game. So I think they're going to look at that film and feed Travis Kelce a lot because he's got to make sure to show out because his girlfriend's going to be flying in from Japan just for this game. So,
Really? I haven't heard of that.
Since she was in my town on Sunday, accepting a Grammy and announcing a new album. So, and then, just takes off for Japan and now, 4 sold. Yeah. Just amazing. Just amazing. So I think the big controversy is is she going to be able to fly into, into Vegas airport, which somebody said recently was going to be too jam-packed and they weren't accepting any new flights.
I don't know. I think if anybody can get it done, it's Taylor Swift.
I mean, yeah. She'll
Maybe they're saying that so she does, and there's a little less fanfare around it.
Maybe they don't want scream 10,000 screaming teenagers in Vegas airport just kind of like she's there, but no. Getting back to the game, like Joey said, I think what you said is very true, and it has me leaning toward the under. Is the fact that I think Christian McCaffrey, he's gonna I think if the 49ers win, I think Christian McCaffrey is gonna have to have a monster game. So that to me is the big thing. And the Chiefs have gotten bit a little bit by the running game. James Cook kind of hit him for 82 all-purpose yards. We still don't I rewatched the game against the Ravens. I still don't understand why they went away from the running game except for Lamar Jackson.
Doesn't make any sense whatsoever because it was working.
Listen, it was working. It was going to work. It was going to work. But I don't know. Well, Steve Spagnuolo,
I do. I've got
you know,
a lot of love for that man. He 18-1. I'll never forget that night. I tell you what, it's quite the defense. I hate that he wasn't able to make it as a head coach. Some guys just they're they are what they are, and it's not to say anything negative. It's just he is one phenomenal defensive coordinator. I don't know how many rings he has now, but he's has a special place in my heart for Spags.
yeah, yeah. Spags is yeah. So, yeah, I think the problem with when he coached the Rams, I mean, like with anything, I mean, what coach gets it right at quarterback and then doesn't end up winning, doesn't end up keeping the job? I
Yeah.
think Brandon Staley. Sorry, did I just say that? But well, his problem is his quarterback got hurt. But yeah,
And
so
was Spagnola Spagnola was Bradford, right?
yeah, but
Uh,
Bradford couldn't stay healthy.
and he was the last quarterback with the old rookie contract structure, right? So there was no contract structure. So, that completely hamstrung the team investing that much money in the top pick. You got, if he's a bust, which Sam Bradford was, you're not going to be able to do anything. That's why they had to change the system.
No, I believe it. Now, uh, can Patrick Mahomes? I mean, we've talked about Pacheco, but Mahomes is that kind of quarterback that can really get to the 49ers. Joe Burrow went for 283 against them. Kirk Cousins went for 378 and 2 against them. Uh, you know, Love got to them before he threw that late interception. Jared Goff got to them for 273 and a touchdown. I mean, that's the thing. The 49ers, I know they're favored, but they haven't played a complete game since before since before they got blown out on Christmas night by the Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, honestly, I mean, how much does if you're backing the 49ers, how much does that give you pause?
I don't think I don't think the Chiefs want to get into a shootout with the 49ers. If the 49ers are able to go out there and put up points, run the ball, Purdy is good enough. They've got the weapons with Ayuk and Debo and Kittle. I think Patrick Mahomes is going to go down as one of the greatest, if not the greatest quarterback in NFL history. He hasn't, like you said, he's the passing game just hasn't been what it was in previous seasons. And some of that, has been because the defense has been good. But, he's got Travis Kelce, he's got Rashee Rice, and that's it. It's those two guys. They're it tell you how bad it is, or they're getting CEH involved in the passing game. It sounds like Kadarius Toney is going to get, it sounds like he's going to be active for the game, but who knows what you're going to get out of Kadarius Toney.
Don't
I
get me
would say
started on him.
I'll never say never when it comes to Patrick Mahomes. He's in the mold of the Tom Brady's that you put me, you, Joey, Scampers, and Dame out there with Patrick Mahomes. He's going to win some games. So I'll never say never with him, but I think that the Chiefs want to control this game on the ground. They don't want to get into a shootout.
He's gonna actually find Scampers because Scampers is tall, so he's gonna
Make
kind
him
of like
catches in the beard though.
yeah, exactly. That's the thing. The ball's gonna come in there. It's gonna go in the beard. It's never gonna go
I don't know
anywhere
why
else.
guys
He's gonna
don't
have
do that.
possession.
That's gonna give it a little bit of, I guess, because they can tackle from there.
Oh man. So Purdy. I mean, talking about Purdy, I know he's getting a lot of hate, and it's fact. In fact, this morning in the Athletic, I read an article where they interviewed Drew Brees about what he thought of Purdy, and he himself saw a lot of himself in Purdy, and in fact they looked at the measurables, almost identical,
Okay.
height, weight, arm length, everything like that. I mean, it was just like, and you sat there and it's like, and no one questioned if Drew Brees could hold up for a season. I mean, he had some injuries, but no, he
Right.
was incredibly durable. You give him a great line, give him great receivers, and he made magic.
Yeah.
And so,
He was inconsistent too. His first couple of seasons in San Diego, they ran him out of town so they could draft Phillip Rivers.
yeah,
So you know what? Didn't even think of that comparison, but that really makes a lot of sense. And I think, I don't necessarily say that Brock Purdy is going to have a Breeze type career, but I think it's a positive for the long term success of, like you said, in the right system, good offensive line, good weapons. He can be this, guy that puts up MVP type of numbers. I'm not saying he's, you know, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, anything like that, but he's we saw it this year. He can put up big games.
oh, absolutely big games. But you know what? I mean, I think one thing the Chiefs are going to look at that film from Christmas night against the Ravens, and the Chiefs have a secondary, maybe one of the best, not maybe one of the best secondaries, one of the best secondaries in the NFL, if not the best secondary, and I think that's going to give some problems. I mean, maybe Debo gets loose, maybe Ayuk gets loose because those guys are great. It's like like we talk about. Those guys are so good. They're like Derek Jeter in the postseason. You're still going against the great. You're
Yeah,
still going
Cheat
to
sitting
beat
back
the.
there over there.
You're still seeing the great pitchers. He's still going to get a hit 3 out of 10 times. We're going to see if that one comes through. I can see Kittle having himself a game in this one.
Absolutely. Yep,
So
I'm with you on that as well. I think I'm with you. I think that I love Brandon Ayuk, but I think he's going to be the guy that winds up getting shut down by this Chiefs secondary. So,
yeah.
the other receiving options are the ones that I really like for this game.
Oh man. So well, let's get into some props.
Let's do it.
Okay. And I wanted to, we touched on him a little bit ago. Christian McCaffrey, 90.5 rushing yards.
I'm going over. I think that they're he's game script proof. If they want to win, they're going to have to involve him. You know, they're even, if they're behind and they're going to have to pass, he'll get the dump offs. They'll put him out wide. He's going to be involved in this game. So yeah, I'm going over.
I can't see it. I mean, they're just gonna put a saddle on him and just ride. He's
Yep.
a caballo. He's not 90.5. I mean, I could see him going 100 easy in this one.
El
Because yeah,
Caballo. Was that Nelson Cruz? Wasn't that his nickname?
yes.
That
Muy
popped into
bien.
my head as soon as you said that. I don't know.
Muy bien. Muy bien. Oh man, that's awesome. That's awesome. But yeah, I think they're just gonna have to they're gonna have to go after him. We talked about Joey brought up Pacheco 66.5 yards.
Yeah.
So oops. Yeah, are we
I like that as well. I like the over with the way,
yeah.
like I said, the 49ers run defense has been struggling comparatively to what they were at the beginning of the season. And Pacheco's look good. My favorite thing to say, he looks like an angry toddler when he's running. But man, that
Yeah,
guy
that was
is just
perfect.
the guy just had. I love it. I love the passion that he runs with. He's just 100% every single time. I love it, and I think he's gonna have a good game. I wouldn't be surprised to see both of these guys go over 100 rushing yards.
I would not either, and I think that's why I think I like the under in this game. At
Yep.
first, when I was on with Jim Coventry yesterday, I called 31-27 Chiefs, and I might be bringing that down a little bit by Sunday. Might maybe like a 24-21 or something like that. Still Chiefs, but
Yep.
that one's interesting. Okay, so I want to know the passing game prop with Patrick Mahomes, 261.5 over under. He has not hit that number in the playoffs. Now, those games were all played none of them were played in good conditions.
Right.
Of course, Mahomes could throw in a hurricane and still have a good game. But in his last 3 games in the playoff games, he has gone. Let me see. I have the numbers here. Where is that? 262 against Miami, 215 against Buffalo, 241 against Baltimore. All good to great defenses. As we said, the 49ers are beatable, but we're not going to get splash plays with Mahomes. Are any way you're leaning?
Yeah, I'm gonna lean the under here, and it's just because, like we've talked about, I feel like it's gonna be a low scoring game. I feel like there's gonna be a lot on the ground, and the Chiefs have been winning without him having these huge games through the air. Their defense has been so good. He hasn't needed to air it out, and MVS will catch one out of, it feels like, every 10 to 15 deep balls that he throws. McCole Hardman couldn't catch a cold in a blizzard, but other than that, it's Rashee Rice, and it's Rashee Rice is really the only guy that's has any sort of deep threat to him. Travis Kelce's going to be, in the intermediate routes and over the middle in the slot. So I don't think it's going to be a big passing game.
Yeah, and I think once they get into the red zone, I think it's just he's either looking for Travis Kelce or handing off to Isaiah Pacheco or something.
They run those end arounds and stuff and get a little crazy. And yeah, I'm with you.
Well, how about Purdy? So his is Purdy's number is 248.5. So, again, that's we talked about the zone being able to beat him. Again, he hasn't looked great. He has hit that number. He has surpassed that number in both games, in both playoff games. 252 against Green Bay, 267 against Detroit.
I'm tempted to take it. I'm still gonna go with the under. But I am tempted because, this team is full of yak monsters, like you said earlier. And if, how just about everybody on that team can turn a bubble screen into a 70-yard touchdown. So he's had some pretty decent, he's had plenty of ducks that should have been intercepted, but he's, over the course of the year, he's had some pretty nice deep balls as well. It's tempting. I would take the over on Purdy before I would Mahomes, just with the lower number.
Right.
But I'm still going to go, if this narrative that I have in my head comes true, you wouldn't see much passing from either quarterback. So I'm going to stick with the under here.
Yeah, I can see the number. I just keep getting images. I know that Purdy is better than Jimmy Garoppolo, but just how few passing attempts that the last time they had a Super Bowl run, how few passing attempts that Jimmy G got, and I don't see it. I don't see. I really see them just riding McCaffrey, and I think it's going to be it's going to take out some of the opportunities from Purdy in this one. Plus, the fact that they're probably not going to, Shanahan may not want to take some chances against that secondary. So, yeah, I don't see a lot of deep shots. I see some short intermediate stuff that some Debo, some Kittle that. Trying to get some short shots that, and let them run loose a little bit on that one. So speaking of tight ends, though, let me see where we've got, Travis Kelce, his over under is 70.5. So that one seems.
I like the over for that. I like the over for Travis Kelce. He's able to get in some chunk plays when he gets the ball, is able to make guys miss. I don't know if it's on here or not. Are we going to get to a Travis Kelce for receptions? Because I don't want to jump ahead if we're not.
No, let's talk about it.
I'll say, because I'm not in on Travis Kelce for receptions, because of the increased usage of Rashee Rice as the season went along. Travis Kelce only had over seven receptions in 5 out of 15 games, and 4 of those games came before week 5. And weeks 1 through 7, Rashee Rice averaged 3.7 catches. Weeks 8 through 17, almost over 2 more with 5.8 catches per game. So I think it's just that the pie isn't as big as it has been in years past, and it's little, it's went from, Travis Kelce, just a little bit of that pie has gone over to Rashee Rice, and it's, I think Travis Kelce is going to be fine, but I don't think he's going to be peppered with targets like we've seen in the past. Even though he's looked good this postseason, he's looked like the Travis Kelce of old, which may make me eat my words just a little bit. But if it's right now, last time I checked, it was 7, and I'm going to go with the under.
But he's gotten so many targets in the playoffs, and I'm just I look. Let's see, I think
And he's only hit over 7 one game though. 7 to 10
and
Miami,
that was in the
5
last
to
one.
6. Yeah.
It was in the last
So I'm with
one.
it's
Yeah.
close. Like you when I first saw that, I'm like, oh man, I'm going over like in a heartbeat. But then I
Right.
just did a little digging. It's surely a coin toss because I mean you could definitely see a scenario where it's Patrick Mahomes to Travis Kelce all day long. He winds up with a game like last week. But I'm the narrative doesn't always work in our heads, and I just I think it's going to be they know that Travis Kelce's the guy, and they'd rather have Isaiah Pacheco and Rashee Rice beat him.
So it's 20. He's got 23 catches, 262, and 3 touchdowns in the playoffs. But 11 of those catches were in the last game. So I can see where you're coming from. There's a part of me. It's kind of like with McCaffrey. I'm leaning just because I think he's going to get fed early. So, but this
I can
one's,
100% see that. It
that
truly
one
is a
could be
coin toss.
number. Yeah, it could be right on the numbers. So that could be interesting. That's gonna be fun. That's gonna be a fun one to follow. So now my big thing is Patrick Mahomes is the favorite for the Super Bowl MVP at plus 135, but he is on the underdog. So how do we do that? How does that happen? So that is I mean, I know if Kansas City wins, it's likely that he's the MVP, but it's almost like in the Academy Awards, your picture is nominated for Best Picture, but you're not, the director is not Barbie.
Right.
So
I'm with you. It doesn't make sense. I see the Chiefs. I know the numbers don't say it, but I see the Chiefs as the favorite personally. I think it's it's never going to go either way. Over 2.5 points on either side, but just the way that they're able to they look right now, and the way that they've turned it on towards the end of the season and the postseason. Travis Kelce did talk about the complacency in regular season games when you're in like the Bulls in the 90s, like you're in these playoff games and these meaningful games so often. It's only natural you're not going to be at your best in these regular season games that don't have that same feeling. And I truly believe that that's what happened with the Chiefs this year.
I think so. Yeah, he talked about that on his New Heights podcast, where it's just like he was having trouble getting up for the games, and he also had some injuries. But I mean, he's healthy now, and that one's going to be. Excuse me.
You think if they win, he rides off into the sunset with Taylor Swift and retires?
No,
Yeah,
I think there's not. I mean, as great a life as he could have, being Mr. Taylor Swift, and there's nothing that's going to match what he's going to do on Sunday for him, or on a personal standpoint. And he's still the guy. He's still the guy for his buddy Patty Mahomes. So I don't see him just saying adios at that point and just calling it a career. I think I think his contract, he's already talked about the fact that he's got a contract through 2025, and he's at least going to go through that. He could, there's some records that are out there for him, some Tony Gonzalez records and some Gronk records out there that he can, that he could take and make all of his own and make it without question the best tight end of all time. And though the thing is, the field is caught up to him.
Yes.
Sam Laporta, Trey McBride, George Kittle, those guys have caught up to him.
I love Trey McBride. I think I'm gonna have a lot of Trey McBride because I feel like Sam Laporta is going to be overdrafted next year. I think he's going to have a phenomenal season, but I think he's going to be that guy that people are buying all the risk. And if you're able to get Trey McBride 2 or 3 rounds later, I'll take that all day.
Trey McBride, another tight end. He got 10 balls for 102 yards against the 49ers. So another thing to keep in mind there. And it was late. It was that game against the Cardinals late in the season. So
week 15, I believe.
Yeah. So that one's gonna be funny. Are there any other so I got 2 other prop bets on the show sheet, but any other prop bets that you're following?
Where is it? Let me pull up my notes real quick. I did have another one for Debo as well.
Oh yeah.
I like over 8 rushing yards in the first half. I was surprised when I saw this one, but Debo played in 15 games this season, and 9 of those games he went for 8 or more rushing yards. In those 9 games, 6 of those 9 games he had over 8 rushing yards in the first half. So I think that, this being the Super Bowl, they're going to want to keep the Kansas City Chiefs defense on their heels. They're going to want to throw everything at them but the kitchen sink early. And I think they're going to get Debo involved. And we saw the Chiefs have been able to be run on. So I think that's one that's a little out of the box that I could definitely see happening. And as you can tell, I think Debo's going to be involved in this game early and often.
Yeah, that 8 yards just seems way too low. I know it's a first half. I know it's a first half prop bet, but he could get that on one play.
Exactly.
So, I mean, he could get the ball 3 times and just get it on the one play. So yeah, no, I love that bet. I love that bet. That's a good one. So 2 fun ones to come up with. Does the Super Bowl MVP thank Taylor Swift? So yes means plus 650. No means minus 1200. Obviously there's Travis Kelce to be the MVP. Those odds are long. So where are you on? Where would you go on this one?
I wouldn't put a lot, but for those odds, I would throw it on the yes, because it's a possibility. I don't think it's going to happen. Travis Kelce could potentially be the MVP, although it's not likely. But he comes down with 3 touchdowns, and maybe it happens. It also could be somebody on the 49ers that's trying to be a little bit of a troll and take a dig. So I would drop a little bit on there. Definitely don't go crazy, but at plus 650, I think that's the play.
Yeah, think about that. Think about $10, you get
Right.
65.
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, you're not gonna go crazy on that one. I think that's a fun bet. $10, $5, something like that. Just to say you had that bet, and if it comes through, yeah, it's
And
it's a
you have
fun
one last sweat for the season with the presentation of the Lombardi Trophy.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. The game's over. You've already
Yep.
cashed. You took the Chiefs and the under, and it cashed. But yeah, you just got to find out. You got to find out that last bet. Yeah, and you already know you picked the right MVP. Yeah, that one's funny. All right, mi amigo. The moment no, I forgot the national anthem. 90, Reba McEntire is going to be singing the national anthem, and it's going to be right now. The time is 90.5 seconds.
Okay.
So minute and a half.
That feels long. Even though I would think Reba would be a little slower than some others. I'm going to have to go the under here, but I'll tell you what I've done in the past with this, and it's worked when I've done it. Go look up some of Reba's previous time, especially a legend like Reba. She sang the national anthem before at other events. Go do a little bit of research and see what she averages with those. I can't remember who it was. I did it a few years ago, and it was nail on the head. It was within like 1.5 seconds of previous. So, yeah, I would go do a little research on that one. With just shooting in the dark, I would have to go under, because 90 that seems like a lot. That seems like a long time.
So I did do some research on this,
Okay.
which means I listened to a 2.5 minute video of Jen Piacenti
Okay.
talking about this. So because last year she sang the national anthem, and as she said, she because she's a classically trained singer, and she actually, and also Italian, by the way. But
You got the
she,
vowel at the end of your last name. You're either Italian or Mexican or somewhere very close to
yep,
one of those two.
exactly. So she nailed it last year. I think it was under. But also did some research that Reba had done an 80-second national anthem. I think it was at a World Series game, and then another. And so when that came out, it was originally 84.5.
Okay.
And then, but then another one came out that she was like, it was around 99, around close to 90 seconds. So that's when it went up to 90.5, but it still ended up being under 91 seconds. So so yeah, it's yeah, let's bet the under on that one. So that one. But now the moment we've all been waiting for, the Gatorade.
Yeah, that's my favorite. I
The Gatorade prop.
I'm
So
excited about this one. I actually contributed to over at FTN Bets. We did a novelty prop article that just dropped today, and everybody, various people from across FTN contributed, and I chose to go with the Gatorade bath, and I did a little bit of research, and for that,
all right,
um,
I'm gonna
you get
drop
the
this in there.
okay.
Those are
Wow,
the odds
orange
right
is
now.
up to 500. When I looked, it was a couple days ago that orange was at plus 300. And that's the route that I'm going to go is orange. And I'll tell you why. So purple was the favorite when I looked a couple days ago. Purple has only been the color of choice 3 times since 2001. Now, it was the choice last year. That's what they doused Andy Reid with after they beat the Eagles, which thank goodness they beat the Eagles because I don't want to see Philadelphia do anything good. But other than that, there's a couple other things as well. The last time we saw orange was also the Kansas City Chiefs when they beat the San Francisco 49ers 4 years ago. So, maybe obviously any of these prop bets, you're going down narrative street. You're just trying to figure out any little potential possible edge. Maybe they're a little superstitious and they want to stick with the same color Gatorade that they had the last time they beat the 49ers. But the orange has been the color of choice for the Gatorade bath 21% of the time, by far the most of any color since 2001. I just feel like, give me, with those things considered, orange is due. I'll take the plus five, especially plus 500 now. My goodness. Give me orange.
I love it. I love it. And it is one of the OG colors. Orange and green are the two OG
Exactly.
colors. So there's a part of me, and I forgot about that, about purple being the color last year. The Chiefs are wearing red, so I think they're going to wear something, get something contrasting. I'm because I love punch. I'm going to go red.
Okay.
So,
All right. That's my favorite flavor. So I like that.
oh, I mean, my favorite flavor is the green, but no, I'm just going to go red just to get some contrast on the white jerseys, just to make it extra hard to
I
wash them,
gotcha.
and especially when they put them up for charitable
Right.
donations, that they could see a little bit of tinge of red in there, so a
There we
little
go.
pink. So, oh man, maybe I love it. I love it. Okay, so now let's have your prediction for the game.
I'm going to go Chiefs 24-20.
Wow. Wow. I love it. I love it. So I went 31-27 yesterday, but I think I might be coming back down to like 24-21 or like 27-24,
Yep.
both being the Chiefs.
Somewhere in that range where I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be a really good game. I'm excited. This is two great teams, and honestly, sometimes you go into the Super Bowl. At least me personally, sometimes like last year, I was pulling heavy against the Eagles as a Giants fan. I have to. This year, I'm honestly perfectly fine with either team winning. There's likable guys on both sides of the ball. Plenty of stories. It'd be fun to see Brock Purdy win one, Christian McCaffrey, Debo. It'd be awesome to see the greatness of Patrick Mahomes, in another dynasty. You could really go either way, and I'll be perfectly happy.
Yeah, well, being an LA guy, I cannot root for anything San Francisco oriented.
That's understandable. Just like me last year with the Eagles, I completely understand
it. Though, I mean, there are guys who are likable. Purdy,
Right.
I'm a big McCaffrey fan. So
That's the thing too. With as much as I despise the Eagles, I absolutely love Jalen Hurts,
yeah.
and AJ Brown. Like those are two of my favorite players in the NFL. So I wouldn't have been happy for the fans. I would have been happy for those guys.
So I think we're both of like mind when it comes to them winning. So there is one thing we're not going to be of like mind, though, mi amigo.
Ooh, okay.
I'm looking out 8 months from now. Late 8 months from now, latter part of the October, close to Halloween. Are we going to see the Dodgers Yankees in the World Series?
We're gonna see the Dodgers there. I'll tell you that. And people are hating on them for the way that they did the contracts for Ohtani and Yamamoto and everybody else. I don't blame them one bit. You play to win the game. They're within the rules by all means. The Yankees need pitching. That seems to always be the case. We were able to pick up Juan Soto this offseason, which I'm really excited about. But we got Marcus Stroman, who I'm excited about. He's a Blue Devil. I don't know if you knew that or not. He's one of the
I didn't
few
know
Duke
that.
Blue Devils that is in the Major League Baseball. But he's a mid to back end rotation guy at this point of his career. We need Blake Snell. Like if we're going to be serious about making a run, he's really the only pitcher out there left that I feel like can be that much of a difference maker.
Oh man, well, my National League only team that's carrying over Blake Snell is hoping that he stays NL. So we'll see on that one. Hope there's a big part. I think it'd be extraordinary. I think it'd be great for baseball.
Baseball needs it. They need
to
two of
see
those major franchises and major markets that to move the needle for the World Series.
Yeah, with major stars. I mean, to me, Juan Soto is my favorite hitter. I think number one, just from a talent standpoint, there's no comparison. I don't think there's anybody who's as good as him. But also, I love that swag. I love that shuffle that he does. So, yeah, exactly. Though it's almost like he's a matador facing the bull, and he's.
I love that. Yeah, you're exactly right.
I think that there's a bravado to the way he plays, and I think it's phenomenal. So I love to see that. But I also think Shohei Ohtani is going to hit 55 to 60 home runs. So it's going to be because he's going to finally have lineup protection. It's going to be awesome. And Clayton Kershaw's back, so they have to win. So I had a quick comment from my primo Efren Martin. Orale primo. Saludos y abrazos. I hope you're good. I know your Raiders got a new coach, and also Mr.
One
Scampers
of my favorite Giants of all time. I love that hire for them. He is the perfect coach for the Giants. I'd love him as the Giants, but for the Raiders.
Oh well, yeah, he was on the the team that created 18-1. So
yep, I mean he's the mind he has for the game. He's a leader. He was the captain of the defense. It's just. When we signed him from the Redskins, excuse me, the Washington Football Team Commanders, whatever you want to call them now, I knew we had a special guy.
Oh, love it. And Mr. Scampers is also calling for a Chris Conley TD.
Always Chris Conley
always
TD.
on that one. So, oh man, mi amigo, last one, just a fun one. Any recent Mexican food discoveries or favorite dishes that have really been calling your name lately?
So I wouldn't say discoveries. Maybe a rediscovery. It's something I haven't had in a while. And I never know if I pronounce it right. Is it birria?
Birria.
I love it. It's the sauce or stew or whatever you want to call it that you dip it into is just it's just in a. I don't know if I know isn't it traditionally goat meat? I believe from what I've been told from some friends.
Lamb.
Ooh, I would love to have it lamb. So far I've only had pork. That's what we've had here, but I'd love to, I would love to try the traditional either one of those, I I'm willing to, give it a try at least once.
Yeah, my mom also makes it. My mom makes an incredible
I
birria.
could only
So
imagine.
it just like it's like a great pulled pork that just kind of just
Almost
the
melts in your
salt.
mouth.
It's incredible. Yeah, she makes it with beef and everything like that. But yeah, she's just yeah. It's funny. I recommended that to Dusty Evely of Cheesehead TV, and he's my go-to guy when it comes to the Packers, and he found it. He found it in Kentucky, and
Really?
yeah.
Well, I
So
think I've told you this before. We have a really high Hispanic population in North Carolina, especially in the city that I live. And we have some. I know it's nowhere near the West Coast, LA and Texas and stuff like that, but we do have this one restaurant that a year or two ago was named the top 10 best new restaurants in the country, not just in North Carolina, in the country. And it's a family that moved here from Mexico that it's just the authentic stuff, like as authentic as you're gonna get in North Carolina. And it's just, I mean, they home make the tortilla chips, so I mean they're like that thick, and it's everything's a la carte. It's just I love it. It's my favorite place to get my favorite is just basic steak tacos with uh, a little cilantro, onion, squirt some lime on there,
it's
and
perfect.
yeah,
Yeah, I could eat that all day. I could eat that all day. Yeah. So yeah, barbacoa.
oof,
Oh, some barbacoa. Oh, yeah. If you make it in a pit, it's like a whole day event. So yeah, you just do that.
that sounds good to me.
Oh man. But yeah, birria done the right way, barbacoa done the. Oh yeah. Have they do they have carnitas at the place?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah,
Next time
that.
I go, maybe I'll go tomorrow. I'll take a picture of the menu and see if it holds up.
Oh, love it. Well, no, I want you to take a picture of a plate and send it to
I'll
me.
do that too. Maybe
Yeah. Oh man, mi amigo. Like, I can't believe we're over an hour and it's just flown by like 5 minutes. So,
absolutely.
wait
I
a
feel
second,
like
we got.
I could go a few
Oh,
more.
Oh, and don't forget Al Pastor, another personal favorite of our compadre Mauricio Gutierrez. It's his 101 of taco meats. So
Okay.
I'm hungry now. I get to eat dinner.
I know.
So I know you're going to go to bed, and I'm going to go eat dinner. Mi amigo, let's close up shop. Please pump anything you got, especially the athletic article you got coming
Yeah.
up.
So follow me on Twitter at GManJ. I've got just recently dropped a way too early 2024 mock draft that Jorge, you were generous enough to share your time and be a part of. Over the next few days, I've got 2 prop bet articles coming out, one for Debo Samuel, one for Travis Kelsey. And I actually got word I am going to be doing a little bit of fantasy baseball as well. I'm going to be doing some mock drafts for the Athletic with fantasy baseball over there. And I have another article. I think I've kind of hinted around it to you, Jorge. Keep on the lookout. It's towards the end of the month. I can't give out any information on it. But it's a really cool article. I'm excited to write. I'm actually going to work on it once we hop off of here. But I've got something a little different, something you wouldn't expect, but it's going to be a good one.
Love it, love it. Oh man. Well, make sure to check it out. Make sure to check it out with it. You when you go to the Athletic, and I've got it. I've got my Athletic subscription where I can pick out my authors, and Jay is one of them. So
I
I love
appreciate
it.
it. And
You're
I
right
want to say
next.
too, I love you, Dame. Love you, Scamps. I appreciate you guys. Always around. Not no longer with FYF, so we don't get to hang out quite as much in the chat, but always appreciate you guys.
Oh yeah, you guys. Oh, you guys are the best. Oh man. Hopefully we get another Dodger game this season. Dame, Dame and Scampers. That's gonna be a good time.
Who were you saying that I'm beside over in your author pictures up at the
You're
Athletic?
right next. You're right next to Mike Sando.
Okay, I'll take that.
So
I will
he's in
take
good company. He's
that.
in good company.
Well, who's first? Who's on the left? That's the
The far left, I think I think I got Zach Kiefer.
Okay, that's all good company.
Zach Kiefer, and Diana Rossini.
Okay,
So another fellow Italian from
absolutely.
from the East Coast. So, oh man, Familia, this has been awesome. Muchas gracias to our guest, Jay Felicio. From because as I said, he's absolutely Familia. Absolutely, Familia. Make sure you're following us on Familia FFB on YouTube. Hit that like and subscribe. Okay, gonna have some great off-season content coming your way. You can find me at Jorge Martin 17. My content is pretty much exclusively on Yahoo. I've already started to do some baseball too. So this week I had a few football articles. Gonna have more baseball coming up right after the Super Bowl. So enjoy the Super Bowl. Enjoy your comida, and remember, todos somos familia. Salud.